Since the beginning of the year, 38 journalists and media practitioners were murdered. Last year alone, 94 were killed with total impunity. You will have seen the chilling report published yesterday by the Committee to Protect Journalists, which highlights how war, but also political instability and weak institutions contribute to a cycle of violence and impunity against reporters and media practitioners.
The first prize tonight, that is for the best local journalist of 2019. It is awarded to Aminde Blaise Atabong. The judges want you to know that Aminde Atabong's bravery was outstanding in documenting what they call the sometimes violent split between Cameroon's English and French-speaking communities.
The Anglophone crisis has been a crisis which I consider a forgotten crisis because the media is no global media attention as we see in other crises in sub-Saharan Africa. Since 2016, over 3,000 people have been killed by the conflict. And close to 50,000 people have been displaced and they are living as refugees in neighboring Nigeria. And over 250 people are internally displaced within the country. As we speak, the conflict is still going on and many people are dying every day in the English-speaking part of the country.
We're into our second award, ladies and gentlemen, that is Best Freelance Journalist of 2019. Now, it goes to Amanda Sperber. Amanda is based in East Africa and she wins the award for her reporting on armed conflict and the very complex politics of Somalia.
A well-worn reporter adage says, the job of the newspaper is to comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. It's definitely a trite saying, but it's one that I think has great merit at its core and doesn't apply just to journalism.
Let us move on to our third award. This prize was specifically inspired by the freelance journalist, the author and friend of Kurt Schork, Anna Husaska, and it pays tribute to the vital role played by what the judges describe as the unsung heroes in so much news gathering and journalism from difficult, dangerous and hostile places. And I'm delighted to say that this year's award goes to the Iraqi news fixer Sangar Khalil.
For terrorist groups, always, we are the second or the third wanted in their lists. Officers, high rank from the government, then expats, foreigners, and then the one who works for foreigners. So we are always wanted. We get threatened, like we work, we get good income, but we don't know when we're gonna pay for it.
Some of the deadliest countries now that we're seeing creep up into the list are those not at war, namely Mexico. There have been 10 journalists killed in Mexico alone this year. Last year, India and the United States were also in the short list for deadliest places. There's journalists imprisoned in a number of other places. As we sit here tonight, nearly 400 journalists, citizen journalists and media workers are behind bars around the world.
Local reporters have been kind of under the gun, no pun intended, and the media institution has immediately kind of removed itself from the situation in a way that's pretty depressing.
Many journalists and fixers I know who were trying to escape to Turkey and they got shot. Anyone heard about them? Yesterday actually I was doing a presentation and I was trying to get a figure, the 131 figure, and I put Syrian journalists killed. And I got 10 international journalists killed and kidnapped in Syria. So I had to go to the second page to be able to find the actual numbers of Syrians. Who would be able to name any Syrian who was kidnapped by ISIS? And you surely know that most of those who suffered from ISIS violations were Syrian and Iraqis. I lost two of my friends who most probably have been slaughtered. One of the beneficiaries that he was actually a digital security trainer, he was slaughtered on camera. I was trying to look on his name on Google, the British Google, and I found nothing. So even those very simple memorials to recognize their sacrifices for the values that we're advocating for, it doesn't exist.